This is a live look at Mosaic Stadium in Regina. The Roughriders will host the Montreal Alouettes, but first, they will officially honor everyone affected by the Humboldt Broncos bus crash, a tragedy that took place nearly 3 months ago. They will recognize the victims, their families, billets, and first responders, too. It's a day to be strong. Humboldt strong.
Hello, Rider Nation, and hello to everyone across Canada joining us live on TSN as your Saskatchewan Roughriders recognize the Humboldt Broncos and the community of Humboldt during today's Humboldt Strong game. Fans, what took place on April 6th seemed to touch the hearts of so many people across our province, our country, across North America, and beyond. Today, the players, coaches, board of directors, staff of the Saskatchewan Roughriders reaffirm their ongoing support of the Humboldt Broncos, the community of Humboldt, and everyone affected by that tragic event. The Riders are honored to welcome more than 1,000 special guests today, some viewing from the Champions Deck above the north end zone and others watching from the stands. And the Riders are extremely pleased to welcome some very special guests on the field today, proudly holding the flags of our country, our province, and our team. Please give a very warm Rider Nation welcome to representatives of the Humboldt Bronco players, families, billet families, first responders, and members of the Humboldt community. Fans, you will notice that on the field today, we have 4 Humboldt Strong ribbons located on the 29-yard lines. These symbolize and honor all of the 29 people who were on the bus that day. Standing at the northwest 29-yard line, please welcome the Humboldt Broncos team president, Kevin Geringer, the president and CEO of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Craig Reynolds, and representing the support of Canadian football teams across our country, CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie. We are thrilled to welcome even more special guests, some who are on the field and others joining us on the Champions Deck. Please welcome the Humboldt Bronco players. The Riders and Rider Nation welcome you all to Mosaic Stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you are able and remove your headwear as 620 CKRM presents today's anthem singers, performing from the stage on the South Concourse above Pill Country from Shaunavon, Saskatchewan, the Hunter Brothers. Acknowledging that we are on Treaty 4 land in the traditional homeland of the Métis, please join the Hunter Brothers in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free, from far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand
the CFL officials for today's game. The replay official is Kim Murphy. The Sparrow official, Rand Clark. The field judge, Jason Maggio. The back judge, Pierre Laporte. Side judge, Blair Brown. The line judge, Rick Berezowski.
This is all about healing. And if there's any way that we can heal as an organization, as a community, it's certainly with our beloved riders.
We have Humboldt Strong on the back of our helmets this year, and this is, we're gonna be here for the community for the long haul.
Grief is not just felt in our community. Grief is felt across this province and across our world.
We're going to take our football team out there. We're going to pay our respects to a great community.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the CFL on TSN, and hope you're having a happy Canada Day weekend. Rod Smith along with Jock Climby, Matt Dunnigan, and Milt Stegall. But first, we recognize what the Saskatchewan Roughriders have done nearly 3 months after the Humboldt tragedy, Jock. And if ever there was a community team in Canada, it is the Roughriders, and very appropriately done today.
Well, just watching how this has unfolded over the last number of weeks and months, obviously such a tragic event, but it really is a sense of community, not just in Saskatchewan, but across this country that has really struck me. Sport is supposed to be a way for these young men to grow and develop, and for this to strike in the way that it did is obviously felt by everybody. What a great job done by the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Yeah, no question. Tastefully done, and I don't know how you work through something like that. They talk about a new normal. There's nothing normal about it. I think that's why strength of community in Canada, North America, the world, reaching out to this community is so important, and strength in numbers is never more needed than right now.
Yeah, and it's a healing process. It's going to take a while for the individuals involved to heal, but I'm just hoping and praying that the backing that they're getting from everyone involved will allow that healing process just to be a little bit easier, because it's nothing like no other, but hopefully they'll be okay.
It is a community team, near and dear, not just to Regina, of course, the entire province of Saskatchewan. As you said, very well done. They're playing the Montreal Alouettes as we take you to Mosaic, to Chris Cuthbert and Glenn Suter.
Special coin for today's game, the Humboldt Broncos hockey puck. Okay, the Broncos logo is heads, the Humboldt Strong is tails. Montreal, you're the visitors. What's your choice? Heads. Heads is the call. Matt, could you do the honors, please? Back up a little bit. We'd like it to land on the ground. It's a tail. Saskatchewan, you've won the toss, and you'll defer your choice to the second half. Montreal, you have choice in the first half. You'll elect to receive. Saskatchewan, what end would you like to kick off from? As you are, Montreal will receive. Bring it out, gentlemen. Have a good ball game.
Seen moments ago, a day where hockey and football communities forge a tighter bond, and the healing continues. We're ready for a game dedicated to the Humboldt Broncos. The Humboldt Strong game between the Alouettes and the Roughriders underway. Stefan Logan on the return, and he'll juke his way across the 35-yard line to set things up for a former Saskatchewan Roughrider, Drew Willie, trying to help end this Montreal Alouette losing streak that has reached 13 consecutive games.
Yeah, Chris, this game is so much more than a football game. It's about support from a community. It's about 33,000 fans, a sellout here at Mosaic Stadium, giving the community of Humboldt a big, huge hug and saying you're not alone. We're going to have a good football game here tonight. I know the teams are emotionally charged.
Hands off to the Roughriders for a tremendous pregame presentation. A flag down on the first offensive play from scrimmage. A handoff to Tyrell Sutton.
Drew Willie looking for a bounce back game.
Offside, Saskatchewan. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
After the loss to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, he threw for just 111 yards in that one. Let's take a look at the offense for the Montreal Alouettes. Chris Williams got to get going, got to push the ball to him deep to have success offensively, open things up. Take a look at right tackle Sean Jamieson.
Patrick Lavoie set up at a tight end. They'll swing it out to the far side. B.J. Cunningham's got it, but but he is taken down quickly. Good play by Preston Butler.
Riders D, we're going to see a rotation at the defensive end spots. Willie Jefferson, Charleston Hughes are the starters. You got Brooks inside, but we will also see Toby Antigua rotate in at the defensive ends. And then you got on the line in the linebacking core Samuel Aguave, a big game against the Toronto Argonauts. Him and Derek Moncrief to open the season. And Deron Carter starts on defense, but may play both ways tonight.
No gain for Cunningham. 2nd and 5. A drop by Ernest Jackson. Over the middle, would have been a first down, but it's a 2-and-out to start for the Alouettes, the same way they started last week against Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's a flat-out drop by Ernest Jackson. A combination of he and Chris Williams. You go back a couple of years to Ottawa, they got to get going like that for Montreal to have any success. But the Riders won the toss and deferred, so they gave Montreal the ball and got exactly what they wanted, a 2-and-out.
So it's Boris Beatty to punt it away. Christian Jones awaits at the Rough Rider 22. And Jones brings it back to the 34. 12 on the return. And the tackle made by Glenn Love just back in the Alouette lineup. And here comes Brandon Bridge on Canada Day weekend, a Canadian starter. The Mississauga product gets his first ever start for the Rough Riders at home here at Mosaic.
Zach Claris is on the 6-game injured, was injured in the Ottawa game last night. You saw the numbers for Brandon Bridge when he came off the bench in Ottawa. One start last year against Hamilton, a start that he won.
3rd career start, one was with the Alouettes. And he'll go to work early. He's going to take a deep shot here, and it is dropped. Marcus Thigpen out of the backfield had a step on Chris Aki, and he drops the football.
Well, both quarterbacks can't be blamed for the early drops here, but you're going to see Thigpen from that slot back position just straight down the numbers and just flat out drop it. He's off his 2-game suspension, getting his first start of the season. Try and get a little of that rust off.
As fast as anybody on the field today, and Thigpen with separation, and Bridge put it on the money. 2nd and 10. And he'll go over the middle, and that one tipped and falls incomplete. Intended for Naaman Roosevelt.
Henoch Moama got a hand on that, the former Saskatchewan Rough Rider, a middle linebacker. But you can't blame Brandon Bridge for that first series. That was a ball that should have been caught by Thigpen.
So the veteran Stefan Logan is back, and Josh Bartel gets set to punt. Bartel averaging 39.5 early in the year per punt. High, not deep. Logan from his 37 with a cutback. And dances up to the 47-yard line. So they trade 2-and-outs early. And it's Montreal football when we return. As if on cue on a special day, a rainbow appearing above Mosaic. Let's go down to the sidelines. Farhan Lalchi with a special guest.
Yeah, I'm with Kevin Geringer, president of the Humboldt Broncos, and a few of his closest friends, some of the players that were taking part in the ceremonies before the game. And just what does this night mean to you and the community, Kevin?
It really means a lot. I mean, to be here in Rider Nation, to be with the fans that are here, of course, supporting obviously the Riders, but also to be here with us and welcome us as an organization with our families. It means so much to all of us, of course, in Humboldt and of course across our provinces that represent our teams.
And we know the Riders are so supportive of this, and there's another big event coming up in September, and that's going to be your first game back after all of this. Take us to that night and what that's going to look and feel like.
Yeah, September 12th, it's going to be a big night for us. It's the first game of the regular season for the Humboldt Broncos, and of course that's a big night. We know that that's going to be the next step in sort of moving our organization forward, and look forward to that evening.
Kevin, thanks for this. Enjoy the night.
You bet. Thank you very much, Farhan.
Thank you to Farhan, Kevin. And what we found out in the last 3 months is how tremendous the leadership was and has been in Humboldt. Here's a deep shot. Cunningham open. He's got it. inside the 20-yard line, and the first big offensive play of the day goes to the Alouettes.
Boy, Drew really needed that one. I mean, when you come off a game like he did last week where the offense just couldn't get any traction at all and couldn't push the ball down the field, gets a chance here. He steps up in the pocket nicely to buy himself an extra second. That allowed B.J. Cunningham to open up right over the middle.
Was 0 for 1 on passes over 20 yards last week. That a 48-yard strike. Stefan Logan checks into the offense. 1st and 10. And a quarterback draw. Really straight ahead. And down to the 10-yard line, Sam Hurl, the middle linebacker, with the stop. And that is a tendency breaker. I don't think anybody expecting Willie to do much running today.
No, absolutely not. I mean, he empties the backfield. So 3 receivers each side. You don't see a tailback or anyone behind him. And there's the hole just to his left. That A-gap between center and guard gets himself in a manageable second down situation here.
Got a block from Christian Matt, gain of 7, 2nd and 3. And Willie has time, looking in the end zone. Wanted Cunningham, who had a step in behind Ed Gainey, incomplete.
Very good coverage by Ed Gainey, who has that 3 receiver inside. You count from the outside in. And there's B.J. Cunningham running that corner route, little jam. That's okay at the line of scrimmage. Lots of inside of 5 yards. A look back to the ball to avoid the PI call. Textbook coverage by Ed Gainey.
Mike Sherman took a long time and now sends the field goal unit in. He was tempted on 3rd and 3 from deep in Saskatchewan territory. Alouettes now 1 for 6 in the red zone this season. So will be Boris Beatty. From 17 yards out. Out of the hold of Drew Willie. And the Alouettes lead 3-0. So a big play to B.J. Cunningham. The Humboldt Broncos here for the Humboldt Strong game at Mosaic.
Debbie Schatz of Regina. You could win groceries for a year if a kickoff's returned for a touchdown in this game, thanks to Safeway Sobeys $1 million touchdown to win promotion. And if a second kickoff is returned all the way in this one, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Debbie. Let's go back to Mosaic now to Chris Cuthbert and Glenn Sitter.
Thank you, Rod. 3-0 Alouettes. They score first here at Mosaic, and the Roughriders will take over at the 35-yard line. Mentioned Brandon Bridge, just his 3rd career start. Relief in 13 of the last 21 Saskatchewan Roughrider games. Big to Thigpen and throws incomplete. Some pressure coming up front from Woody Barron.
Take a look at the Saskatchewan offense. Of course, Brandon Bridge gets the start. There's Marcus Thigpen. A drop early on, but he'll be back and coming off that 2-game suspension. Shaq Evans will replace Deron Carter offensively. You got Darren Vaughn at left tackle, and Darius Bladek will play right guard. That's it for offensive linemen on the roster. The next one up, should they lose one in this game, is going to be Eddie Steele.
2nd and 10, 3-man rush for the Alouettes. And pressure coming. Flag comes down. Bridge on a roll. And he gets away from Enoch Mwamba. Runs for a first down. Takes a hit at the Rough Rider bench. But it looks like it comes back on a hold.
Well, we're going to get shortly to the starting lineup for the Montreal Alouettes on defense. But the
Saskatchewan, number 68. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
The big name that's returning to the lineup for Montreal on that defense is this guy right here, John Bowman. I believe it was Thaddeus Coleman who gets the holding call on number 7. Up under the chin, wrapping around the shoulder pads and pulled him to the ground. This is the ref cam taking a look at that holding. That's what the ref saw when he threw his flag.
John Bowman in his 13th year, playing in his 201st game. Number 8 on the all-time sack list with 120. So it's 2nd and 20. They call the draw. There's Thigpen straight ahead, and that one gets snuffed. As John Bowman's involved. He did not play the first 2 games, an ankle issue, and he's making up for lost time.
Well, really is. He brings so much to the table, not just his skill, his 121 career sacks, but the fact that he brings that leadership, that bar gets pushed up when John Bowman's on the field, the rest of the guys follow suit.
So no first downs yet for Saskatchewan. Bartel back in, flag as the Alouettes were offside. This one bouncing down around the 40, and Logan fields that. Another flag for no yards. Chip Cox jumped the gun at the line of scrimmage. So we'll find out how these penalties work against each other. Mike Sherman talked about penalties being an issue in the first 2 weeks. 14 for 125 in week 1, 13 for 126 yards last week against Winnipeg.
Of course, it wasn't Mike Sherman's problem last year, but it was an issue for the Montreal Alouettes last year as well. Too many penalties.
Still be 3rd and long.
Yeah, this one shouldn't hurt them.
Offside. Montreal, number 11. That penalty's declined. No yards. Saskatchewan, number 84. That's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
Montreal take the ball and that 5-yard penalty.
Well, a big series for John Bowman, who drew a penalty, nearly had a sack as his first tackle of 2018. And that will strengthen the Montreal Alouette defense. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. And happy Canada Day weekend to you wherever you're watching. Alouette football at their 47. Drew Willie, short drop. That one tipped by Cameron Judge, coming off the edge, and Willie shaken up.
Barely got up there in time before the training staff came out, or else he'd have to go out for 3 plays. But Cameron Judge, I believe it's a race between the two of them, Judge and Moncrief. Moncrief gets there with the hit. Judge gets the knockdown.
Judge, number 2 pick overall in the 2017 draft from UCLA. And it's 2nd and 10. Better protection. And an incomplete. Intended. Not sure if that was going to B.J. Cunningham or Chris Williams. Both had a shot at the football.
Yeah, these receivers for Drew Willie, I mean, B.J. Cunningham made that deep one over 40 yards, but that's a couple of drops now, and Willie has put the ball where he's needed to. That was a throw to the back shoulder of B.J. Cunningham, deliberately, very, very catchable, and he didn't make the catch. Struggling quarterbacks got to have his receivers come up with those ones.
Quarterbacks combined 2 for 9 to start the game, although we've seen now up to at least 3 drops. Here's Beatty. Christian Jones from the 19-yard line. Dozier there. And about 10 on the return. Well, all the players impacted by the Humboldt Strong game. And we talked to former Saskatchewan Roughrider Enoch Mwamba.
This organization, this city, this province is special already in and of itself, but to be able to affect, a small community like Humboldt the way, this league has committed to doing, I think is an amazing thing. I always tell people, man, it's a blessing to be able to play this game at this level, but to be able to have the impact, the influence, to be able to encourage, a group of people, I think is a blessing that we should never, ever take for granted.
Well said by the
very well said.
Former Rider, middle linebacker now for the Alouettes.
Well, that's what this is about. It's about the support and trying to do everything we can. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders, of course, went up to training camp, had a practice up in Humboldt and a barbecue afterwards during training camp.
All teams wearing the Humboldt Strong ribbons on their helmets this week. Nice defensive play by Jamal Westerman. Here's a pass to Stanford, and Mitchell White on the scene to prevent a first down, but the extra rally to the football draws a flag.
Yeah, I think it was that second hit.
Josh Stanford, the receiver for the Roughriders.
Unnecessary roughness. Montreal, number 22. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
No problem with that tackle. But Glass came in second. Looked like he got the forearm up to the head of Josh Stanford.
5th catch for Stanford, and with that penalty, each of the 5 catches now have produced a first down for Saskatchewan. So good field position for the green and white. First down at their 50. Looked one way and now rolls to the right side, and he'll flip it away to avoid a loss.
Well, I mentioned that start last year against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Good performance by Brandon Bridge, who, as you mentioned, Chris, came off the bench a ton last year for Kevin Glenn when he struggled, but it was nice numbers. 3 touchdown passes for Bridge. First time that's happened since Greg Vavra back in '84, where a Canadian quarterback threw 3 touchdowns in a game, and first win for a Canadian quarterback starting since '85.
In second and long once again. And Bridge upended in the backfield. And this Alouette defense looking a lot different than we saw a week ago.
And who knows, this is start number 1 for Bridge with Zach Caleros on the 6th game. Now, 6th game doesn't necessarily mean he's got to be out for all 6, but he's got to go through the protocol. It was a head injury, so they're going to be very careful to make sure that he is completely recovered and 100% before Zach Caleros gets back on the field. So who knows how long this reign could go for Brandon Bridge.
So under 5 minutes remaining in the quarter. And again, Bartel hangs one up, not deep. Logan's got it. That'll be a 15-yard. No yards penalty against Jordan Williams-Lambert. So that will enhance the Alouette field position with their star running back, Tyrell Sutton, ready to get sprung loose here this evening in Regina. Mike Sherman looks for his first victory as a head coach in the Canadian Football League. The former Green Bay Packer head coach starting to get adjusted to a new league.
It's hard to call plays in the CFL, harder than the NFL, because you have 3 downs to set things up, or if you make a mistake on first down, you still have 2 more. And if you make a mistake on first down here, it's 2nd and 10, and that's a tough down. So you like to have manageable second downs if you can.
Great conversation with Mike Sherman last week going into that game, and talked about getting used to the waggle, the different rules in Canada. He said that he has said punt team get ready more than he's ever said it in his entire career because of the kicking game and how important it is.
Guy with an offensive background.
Yeah.
Well, he stressed first down and also protection for his quarterback. It's like there'll be a time count violation here, unless it's Cunningham offside one way or the other. The Alouettes will be penalized.
Montreal, number 65. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
Well, they're calling Kirby Fabian, who's now in on that offensive line. And with Fabian in, they've gone all Canadian. Luc Brodeur-Jourdain has moved to center. Christian Matt to left guard. 1st and 15. Pressure on. And down goes Drew Willie. Willie Jefferson, who was held without a defensive stat last week, has his first sack of 2018.
Willie Jefferson blocks the passing lane first, and then goes at and finishes the tackle, gets the sack. He's in there with Toby Antigua, I believe, but there's a nice inside swim move. Get that right hand up over the top of Philip Blake. Blocks the passing lane so Drew Willie can't get it out of there, and then sacks him.
Hard to see around that wingspan, 6'6", 240. And now second and 21. Willie crosser, Chris Williams is contained, and Sam Hurl on the scene to make that defensive play.
Yeah, second and 21. That's where Saskatchewan wants Drew Willie to just do that very thing. Just drop it in front and rally to make the tackle. No way that Chris Williams is going to make the entire defense miss and get that first down. Right now the Alouettes just have to eliminate those negative plays. Penalties on first down, drop passes. Saskatchewan starting to tip the field when you're talking the field position battle.
Horace Beatty had a rough game last week. He had one punt, a 1-yard net. A couple went out of bounds. Sails this to Jones back at the 23. Flag comes down and Christian Jones is dropped at the 33-yard line. Glenn Love with another special teams tackle. He was with Saskatchewan last year. Just added to the Alouette lineup this week.
Saskatchewan, number 80. 10-yard penalty. First down, Saskatchewan.
Spencer Moore gets called for the hold, and we head back to Farhan Lalji.
Guys, a very special night for Brandon Bridge. Not only is he making his first start of the season, but it means a lot to him that as a Canadian quarterback, he's getting a chance to do it on Canada Day and on this Humboldt Strong special day as well. He said he's been overwhelmed by the amount of support he's had from players around the league. Quarterbacks and other Canadians from teams everywhere have really reached out to him and said they want him to do well, and he understands what this opportunity means to his career. Everybody knows that Brandon Bridge can throw the deep ball and make the spectacular play, but can he be a consistent quarterback? That's what he wants to show. He says the coaches have said to him, we know you can hit the three-pointer. We want you to be able to make layups. And he's also talked a bit about this being a game that he can add to his resume. He knows very well that he's on a 1-year contract. And this 6-game sample size, he's wanted to get a chance to make some mistakes, live with his mistakes, do it for a long period of time to know that he can do it in the league going forward, whether it's here or elsewhere. He wants to be here, though, and prove that he can be the quarterback of the Saskatchewan Roughriders long-term.
Well, still a young quarterback, and Rich Stubler, a guy that feasts off young quarterbacks.
Yeah, that makes it tough.
And Brandon Bridge made a call to his old teammate Kevin Glenn for some advice about this Stubler defense. Gets Nathan Roosevelt loose here, and Joe Burnett will force him out. So yards after the catch for Roosevelt to give the Roughriders a big offensive play at 28 yards.
Well, Brandon Bridge really leans on Naaman Roosevelt. He's going to have a chance here tonight because Roosevelt, especially with Deron Carter playing defense and not much offense over the last 2 games, they're really going to have to lean on number 82. You take a look at the first 2 games, he targeted 12 times, but just 6 catches for 56 yards. Not enough for one of the premier receivers in the league.
Slipped out of the grasp of Dominique Ellis. 38th consecutive game that Roosevelt's had a catch. There's a fastball caught. Jack Evans. And there's the arm strength that is so enticing about Brandon Bridge.
Make your getaway with intelligent all-wheel drive in the 2018 Nissan Qashqai.
Well, he just threw a rope and a 35-yard connection to Shaq Evans.
Well, a layup to Naaman Roosevelt, a 3-pointer to Evans.
Handoff to Trey Mason inside. We'll see Thigpen, Mason, and Messam. And Chris Aki, a tackle for the Alouettes on defense, who had the top 2 tacklers coming into this game in Mwamba and Aki.
Brandon Bridge this week also talked about limiting the hits that he takes. He knows that Zach Collaros is not dressed, that not much experience behind him with David Watford being the next off the bench if something should happen to Brandon Bridge tonight. So while he loves to get out there and take off and run, He's going to be careful about it and make sure that he hook slides or gets out of bounds if at all possible.
Second and long here. Going through the reads. And that one intercepted. Picked off Brandon Dozier. Down the sidelines. He's got a blocker. And Dozier finally brought down inside the 40-yard line. On the final play of the quarter, Trey Mason the tackle. And Brandon Bridge has tossed his second interception of the season. Just when the offense was clicking through the hands of Roosevelt. And Dozier back the other way. Powerful opening ceremony. You see the Humboldt Broncos on the field prior to the game, huddling it up with members of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. A beautiful pregame ceremony, and we're proud to have Commissioner Randy Ambrosi with us. You know all about community in Saskatchewan, but the football community and the hockey community coming together here, it's a special day.
Yeah, it is. I got a chance earlier to, spend some time with the group from Humboldt that are here. It's beyond words, really. Just, the strength they're showing. Obviously a tragedy, unspeakable, but to be here and, this evening in this beautiful stadium with all these great fans, I think you can almost, feel that they're being lifted up. That makes it fantastic.
Randy, maybe explain that this is not just about Saskatchewan supporting the Humboldt community. It's bigger than that. It's across our entire league.
Yeah, Glenn, you're right. One of the things I was super proud of was just the way the 9 teams came together after the tragedy and, really said to Craig Reynolds and the Rider organization that they wanted to lean in and help. And so, all of them are wearing we're wearing the ribbon on the helmets tonight, but it's more than that.
Well, Willie Jefferson just helped get the football back for Saskatchewan as they trade turnovers, and Jefferson with a forced fumble. Rough Riders get it right back.
Yeah, that's a couple of big plays by Willie Jefferson and getting this crowd behind their home team. Not only making contact with Willie, but getting the ball out of there.
Boy, he just fought his way past Ryan Bauman, and on cue we get a chance to see a Canadian quarterback. Brandon Bridge goes back to work, and I know he met with you in the offseason about the status of Canadian quarterbacks. How did that go?
Yeah, it was great. You guys know him, you've met him. He's a remarkable young man. He's thoughtful. He's he was considerate. We just spent some time just talking about, football and the CFL. And, I told him I didn't have a solution in my hip pocket, but it was nice to visit with him because like so many of the players, all of the players really in our league, you just like being around them.
So why is it difficult to designate him as a Canadian or a national like any other starter?
One of the starters, one of the
I think this is a conversation we have to have, during the collective bargaining discussions next year. I think there's just a lot of things that we want to put on the table and talk about as partners with the players. And, I think this is one of those curious things that happened in the last negotiation, the way it panned out. But we'll talk about it and hopefully find solutions. I keep being reminded when I'm with the fans, they want to see more stability on our rosters. They want to see the players. They want to buy a jersey and see that star player, stay with the team for a long time. There's lots of things that we can talk about as we head into next year's negotiations.
One quick one, which I know is big news story across the country, is that 10th franchise in Halifax. Can you give us any updates or anything that happened of late?
Yeah, Glenn, it's been so positive. I had a call with Mayor Savage this week. He's just a remarkable guy. Nice, there's lots of positive energy around Halifax Regional Council. I have had a chance to talk to Premier McNeil, in Nova Scotia. Very positive. The group that are supporting the bid are very positive. So, look, there's lots of reasons to be optimistic, but we still have got to get this issue of a stadium, decided. But certainly from the Canadian Football League point of view, having that 10th team, wouldn't that be something?
Outstanding.
We love the job because we get to travel across Canada, and we'd love to get to the East Coast too. Randy Ambrosi, the commissioner, thanks for joining us. We'll be right back to Mosaic. Tiger Cats take on the Rough Riders here And don't miss a halftime performance by Niagara Falls native Tim Hicks. Action gets underway 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, across the TSN network. A lot of things happening, including a 39-yard return for the veteran Stefan Logan at 37 years of age. He sets up back-to-back possessions here for the Alouettes in Saskatchewan territory. And there's Tyrell Sutton, brought down by Sam Hurl.
Nice wall return here by the Montreal Alouettes, getting a little help to get around the edge is Steph Logan. Nice block there by Ryder Stone, the backup tailback, just to get in the way of any angle to get Logan cut off. Mickey Donovan getting a little handshake and an attaboy for Logan on the sideline. Nice return, set up the wall, and he got to it.
Last time this deep in Saskatchewan territory, the Willie fumble turned the ball over. Mac Henry was shaken up on that last play. Surprisingly, Suits, as we are in the second quarter, that the first rush of the game for Tyrell Sutton.
Well, I think when you break down that first quarter, you take a look at both quarterbacks need a little more help from their receiving corps, to be quite honest. We've seen a couple of drops, a couple of key plays that have stopped drives because of it. Mike Sherman's got to concern himself again with penalties and get that communicated to his team that, first and 15, first and 20 is almost impossible. It gives Willie Jefferson and crew a chance to just pin their ears back and get after Drew Willie. So I think after the first quarter, taking a look and analyzing what happened there, guys got to catch the ball. Both sides.
10 first downs last week for Mike Sherman's team. Just one so far in this game, and yet they have the lead. Two teams that have been struggling offensively the last couple of weeks. Willie, the 9th different quarterback in the last 11 meetings head-to-head against Saskatchewan. Second down, has time, crosser, and Williams can't catch that.
Yeah, that's a little bit behind him on his back hip, but again, that's a catch that he's got to make. In both these quarterbacks, Drew Willie has one first down. That was the deep throw to B.J. Cunningham, but other than that, the offense has been stopped by the offense and by the receivers, and drops like that. That's a very catchable ball for Chris Williams. And he's got the speed to get the corner and get the first.
Third drop. And they're not going to try a long field goal. Would be a 50-yarder. Instead, Beatty will look for the pin. Line drive. Fielded back there around the 6-yard line. And that might have been a mistake.
Yeah.
Bedard on the tackle. And the Roughriders are backed up. Well, Brandon Bridge still a young quarterback. Here's his thoughts on where he needs to improve.
There's a difference between a guy throwing him open or just throwing at him, and then he's getting like a catch tackle. Sometimes if you throw him open, he can catch it, get on the run, and take a 5-yard pass for 15 yards. And that's where like the Bo Levi Mitchells and the Mike Rileys are so good in like this league, because like, to give those guys a chance like that. So I think that's what I need to start doing.
3 for 9 so far. On a roll with pressure on. He does have some escapability, and feet first slide up around the 19-yard line.
He's dressed for 48 games, Brandon Bridge. Come off the bench for the most part, 23 of them. Did not play in 22 of the games and started 3. One last year, as we've mentioned. One with Montreal against Saskatchewan. But, a guy that's always been a patriot for the Canadian quarterback and opportunities for it, and he's been very outspoken about it. You asked, it was a good question to Randy Ambrosi.
2nd and 7, pass is caught short of the first down as Roosevelt's got the catch. But Dominic Ellis on the scene, a yard away from a first down, and that might be a tough decision for Chris Jones at that end of the field.
Yeah, I think he's tempted, isn't he? He's certainly doesn't have the punt team walking out on the field.
Chris Jones, he's got a bird's eye view, doesn't he?
Standing right there, yeah. He checked it out. He's going to let his offense stay on the field and go get it in their own end.
Bridge needs to get across that 25-yard line and does. Stretching the 6'5" body out in behind Dan Clark, the 7-year veteran at center.
You know, and I don't want to get into the debate about Canadian quarterbacks and things like that in this game, but, you know, it goes back to Brandon Bridge's time in college, Alcorn State first of all, and then South Alabama. But you go back and you start to read some of the articles with Brandon Bridge back then, he was always trying to prove that a Canadian quarterback can get it done, whether it's Division I football down south or in the Canadian Football League or the NFL.
First down with Thigpen, and he kicks it outside and gets dragged down. Defensive play made by Tommy Campbell on the corner.
Well, that's why they paid big bucks to get Tommy Campbell. Try to, first of all, lock down the best receivers for the opposition, but when it's a chance to make a play and put a team in second and long, Tommy Campbell steps up, stays outside with that good leverage, and then hangs on to bring down Marcus Thigpen. Off-season free agent signing. Him and Mitchell White. Great bookends in their secondary.
Been a steady diet of second and long so far in the first half for both teams. 3-man rush. Bridge throwing. Roosevelt can't make a spectacular catch near midfield.
Well, that was the example that Bridge talked about in his clip, saying he wanted to try and throw him open. He just was a little bit high. The ball sailed on him just slightly, but that was the idea. Throw it to a spot rather than throw it to the receiver. He tries to throw it to the spot. It's a little too much air on it. Of course, he has a defender underneath there, so he doesn't want to have it intercepted. Just misses.
Net punting average so far for the Roughriders, 26 yards because of that one big Logan return. He waits around the Montreal 35. At the 40, Chip Cox a block. And Logan down the sidelines. A flag comes down as he steps out around midfield. Well, he has been almost exclusively on defense the last couple of weeks. Ron Carter and the Rough Rider defense on the field when we come back. Well, he's a topic of conversation every week, isn't he? Duron Carter with more on his status on the corner. Let's join Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, Chris, Duron Carter shakes his head at the amount of criticism and attention his defensive back play gets. He got beat for a touchdown in the last game, and then he also took a few interference calls. He says, that happens to me on every play, and they don't call it when I'm on the offensive side. I don't know why they do on defense. He's really defensive of his defensive play. He says, if you look at my numbers and our defense's numbers in all the time I've played defense, it's been very good. As far as his offensive role today, Chris Jones says he is expected to play on offense. It's just a matter of what's going to happen with the offense and how well he's doing and whether or not they feel the offense needs a spark. He says, I am not hovering around the offensive staff trying to get into the game all the time, but I do feel I can be effective with about 50% of the offensive snaps as well. I don't think he's going to get that many, but do expect to see him play tonight, and when he's in, it's going to be for a specific reason. He's going to get targeted when he gets into the offensive side of the ball and knows that that's where he can make the most plays.
I think that's the question. He has shown he can play on defense, but the offensive numbers seem to indicate they're missing him on offense. Dumped off to Tyrell Sutton. He gets tripped up there. Short of the first down by Samuel Aguavin.
Well, it's been a topic of great debate here in Saskatchewan all week long with Duron Carter, and should Chris Jones play him on offense or play him both ways. And, you know, I'm leaning more and more always to putting one of the most talented receivers back on offense where he can help a young quarterback in Brandon Bridge and make those big plays, even if it's a 50-50 ball or you throw it up into coverage, make the mistake on the read. He's the type of receiver that can win the ball. So,
procedure, Montreal number 37. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
It's an interesting debate because in his 2 starts prior to tonight, at the corner, he's had interceptions for touchdowns. So he can play the corner, there's no question. Although against Ottawa, there were some technique issues that got him in trouble a little bit. And as Farhan mentioned, he was beat deep once. But that talent on offense is missed.
Christian Jones with the return up across the 50. Good field position for Saskatchewan. Another special team tackle for Glenn Love in this low-scoring first half. Back at Mosaic, where the Roughriders have their best field position start of the evening at their own 52-yard line. Just 93 net yards for Saskatchewan so far. And neither team really has been able to get anything established on the ground. Bridge fires. That's complete. Jordan Williams-Lambert has the catch. Just one catch last week against Ottawa, but it was a touchdown.
Williams-Lambert, a little quick out here from that inside slot position. Now keep in mind, we just talked about Deron Carter not playing on offense. He normally plays into the boundary. They've got Shaq Evans in there.
And now Trey Mason straight ahead.
And, you know, Shaq Evans gets his opportunity. UCLA product. Jets pick, former Jets pick back in 2014. So he gets an opportunity to play. But with Deron Carter there playing side by side with Naaman Roosevelt, Carter can open up space for number 82. He can give Naaman Roosevelt a chance on those intermediate routes to have a little more room.
First down, they swing it out. And here's Mason skipping across the 35. Another first down. Prior to this series, their average gain on first down was 1.1 yard, but suddenly the offense is starting to click.
Well, they got that pass out to Jordan Williams-Lambert first, and that's got him at second and short, so Brandon Bridge can do this. Doesn't have to force it down the field. Can throw that swing pass to Trey Mason. They can play Trey Mason and Marcus Thigpen together because of their ratio flexibility in some sets.
16 on that play to Mason. Another Rough Rider first down. Bridge has time and throws incomplete behind the intended target, Shaq Evans.
One of the new features we have for your viewing pleasure is Ref Cam, and take a look at that last play. That swing pass to Trey Mason here. That's what the head official takes a look at, watching that go on down there, and just make sure there's no extra business going on down there. And
that was a good view.
Let's boys be boys on that play and move on.
Thaddeus Coleman and Darius Bladdock got involved there. Bladdock was challenged by his coach prior to the game. Bridge in some trouble and throws that away. Closest man to the football was Josh Stanford.
Brandon Dozier blows up contain here. The Riders were trying to get Brandon Bridge outside on the full roll and take advantage of his athletic ability, but Brandon Dozier is going to come in from back here and watch him blow up the chance to try and get the edge for Brandon Bridge. Number one comes in there and he runs over and just trucks a receiver, and then that allows his teammates to get to Bridge, force that throw that's not accurate.
There's Brett Lowther from 40 yards out. Right down the middle, this game is tied.
It's crawling along a little bit here in the first half. Both defense is playing fairly well, but receiver drops.
Well, Canada Day on Canada Sports Leader comes your way Sunday. A massive slate of live sports, including Formula One, FIFA World Cup, free agent frenzy. And the lineup continues with NASCAR, Monster Energy, MLS on TSN, Sunday Night Baseball. Coverage begins 8:30 a.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, and keeps on rolling all day across the TSN network.
Get back to that Deron Carter debate for one more second. Deron Carter, you can control how much he contributes when he's on offense. You can't control it if you're Saskatchewan when he's on defense. You really could just throw away from him.
Drew Willie He's trying to kickstart this offense over the middle. Patrick Lavoie has the catch and a first down. Just the second first down for Montreal in this opening half. And they're not going to flag him for that, are they? Spun the ball down after making this play with tight coverage from Moncrief.
Now let's take a look. I thought that was all good. Walks away.
And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. No, that's a call that's not necessary. Let's get Randy Ambrosi back up here.
Yardage for being enthusiastic is a first down as the flag comes after the play. Willie takes off, flag comes down, and the former Rough Rider scampers back into his old bench.
Well, it looks like it's going to be holding on this one against Montreal as Willie got out on the run there.
First down.
Mentioned the night different quarterback in 11 starts against Saskatchewan. 5 of them have a history with the Rough Riders. Darian Durant, Kevin Glenn, Vernon Adams, and Brandon Bridge.
That was against Lavoie again, and by his reaction, I think he's wondering what happened there, because he's saying that he didn't do any holding. I don't see it either. Well, again, that's okay.
So first and long, pressure on, open receiver inside, Chris Williams, and he is by Duron Carter for an Alouette touchdown. 79 yards. Chris Williams has his first touchdown as an Alouette.
Well, that was a outstanding throw to Chris Williams, who had Duron Carter by 2-3 strides. I'm not sure if it was an inside release. We'll take another look at it from a different angle, but you could see how he had separated from 89, and Duron Carter did not make up that ground in the last 15 to 20 yards. That's flat out speed from Chris Williams.
We talked to Drew Willie a couple of weeks ago about Chris Williams, and he said the fastest receiver he has ever played with, and he just scorched Carter on the corner, and the Alouettes have the first major of the game.
Well, this is a technique issue again that I mentioned with Duron Carter, that playing corner, he can play it, he's good at it, but he has some technique issues as well. I mean, watch him open the gate here. He just opens the gate and allows one of the fastest receivers in the game to just stride right by him, and now Chris Williams gets in that long stride, those quick feet, and you could see him pulling away from Duron Carter. If you're going to let a receiver inside release like that, you better get your hands on him to restart him inside of 5 yards.
Drew Willie had 68 yards passing prior to that toss, 79 on one play, and that matches Drew Willie's longest ever completion in the Canadian Football League.
That's how Duron Carter was beat against Ottawa. Inside release, open the gate, and then try to use his speed to catch up. Well, you can't catch up to Chris Williams. Not many can.
Remember, we did a game at Old Mosaic a couple of years ago where it became a one-on-one battle, and Chris Williams isolated on that one side against Rough Rider corners. Became the game within the game. Christian Jones gets loose, and Boris Beatty has to level him out of bounds with a strong special team tackle. But after struggling for most of this first half, Drew Willie makes a connection. Long distance to Chris Williams. Thank you, Rod. 3 plays, 75 yards, a 79-yard touchdown strike. that helped us forget a couple of sketchy penalties against Patrick Lavoie. Damon Roosevelt drilled out of bounds. Let's take one more look at the Williams Major.
Well, I want to show you where he catches the ball and then how he pulls away. There he is again outside. One-on-one. Carter lets him free release. Inside position. So the ball is a direct throw. You don't have to put any air under it there now. He catches it. He's about 2 yards ahead there. Now watch as he separates. Deron Carter's one of the fastest guys in the league as well, but he finishes, and when he scores, he's 5-6 yards behind. And then gets the discussion from head coach, talking about the technique and the fact that down and distance, know where you are on the field, what the down and distance is.
That pass intercepted. It's Robinson with the interception. As Brandon Bridge is picked off for the second time, Robinson takes the scenic route and now takes it out of bounds. Jermaine Robinson at the nickel back for Rich Stubler in this game. He was the safety last week, and he has the second interception for the Montreal Alouettes. Do have a flag on the play, though. Let's check out this penalty marker.
After the interception, major foul, Montreal, blindside block, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So that'll back it up, but it will be Alouette football.
Take a look again at the interception. I just want to see where Brandon Bridge is looking, because if he's staring down this receiver, and I think he is, again, a little pressure in his face. That was Naaman Roosevelt, but he locked into him early. When he locked into him, that gave Jermaine Robinson a chance to go ahead and break downhill without worry that it's going to be a pump fake. Because you got two guys in his face, he had to throw it there, and he jumps it. Ball a little bit behind Roosevelt.
So for the third time in this opening half, Alouettes start on the Saskatchewan side of midfield. And they're going to take another deep shot. Got him again. Oh. And this time Williams can't hang on.
Oh, boy. Got him again. Is
and
right.
Carter popped him in the end zone, and they're going to flag that.
Penalty for that one.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Saskatchewan, number 89. That's a 15-yard penalty. First down, Montreal.
Well, let's take a look. Carter goes right up and challenges again right here. And he's trying to play that press, but he's got inside position at least there. Now it's an outside release from Chris Williams, but Carter still doesn't get his hands on the receiver to try and slow him. If you're going to play press coverage, boy, you better have that same speed to be able to run with the receiver if you're not going to jam him. And for that little push, he gets a penalty.
Penalized twice last week. Another one there. Tyrell Sutton, and he is hauled down. Nice strong defensive play there made at the point of attack by Chad Jeter, one of the newcomers at defensive end in the rotation.
Seeing a different Drew Willie here tonight, Chris, than last week. I just thought last week he didn't look like he had really any confidence, was really panicking with the ball dropping, and he's kind of slinging it back like his days back as a Saskatchewan Roughrider behind Darian Durant, and then moving to Winnipeg. His first couple of years there was he was throwing it deep like this, taking some shots.
Second and long. They called the draw play. And Sutton gets it inside the 40. We'll see if that's enough for field goal range for Mike Sherman.
Oh, I think you take a shot here. You're looking at probably 47, 48 yarder.
Boris Beatty 2 for 2, but as long as 30 this year. They did not try one earlier from that would have been from 50, and they're not going to try here.
Yeah, I'm
from 46 yards out.
I'm surprised at this. You need your kicker to be able to make it 50 and inside. I mean, 47 isn't a chip shot by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a kick that you expect a pro kicker to make. Now, there are times when this is a better strategy, but I'm not sure in this point of the game it is.
I don't think wind's that much of an issue. But if he gets the job done like that,
wow,
that is perfect. Out at the 1 yard line.
Well, now having said that, with 132, Brandon Bridge got to be careful not to give up a safety, even if they try and run the ball here.
Well, it's an interesting decision, but it ends up being as well as this could have turned out for the Alouettes.
You know, I stand by it, though. I still think
agree.
you attempt the field goal. I mean, a minute 32 left. You're even if you get that perfect kick, which he just did, is Brandon Bridge going to drive the field in 132? I would have gone for 3.
Well, they'll try and stop it up right away and get the football back. Short gain there on first down. So they still can get the safety and the ball back with about a half minute to go in decent field position if Montreal gets the stop they're looking for.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they can get that 2 and out, possibly get the ball back with time to go for another major, depending on where the punt goes. But
has his timeout.
I'm staying with the go for 3.
Again, wind doesn't seem to be a factor, and
I'm trying to find the argument. We're giving the other side of the argument.
From the end zone, Thick Pen unable to break the second tackle. Dozier takes him down, and they will have to punt or concede the safety.
Or concede the safety. Now your punter at this point at the 5 yard line is going to be standing 10 yards deep in the end zone. So if Chris Jones decides to give up 2 here.
Man, the average punt under 40 yards so far in the game for Bartel.
And Steph Logan's been close to breaking a couple. Had a couple of decent returns, but close to breaking one in a big way. So he's back there in case they do kick it out. Yep.
And they will.
And that's short, too.
And that is short. Logan settles under this at the 48, runs backwards, and lost a few back at around the 50 with a flag down on the play.
I'm not surprised that Chris Jones made that decision to kick it out because he wants to put his defense out. And if Mike Sherman is not going to try 47.
Holding Montreal number 83. 10-yard penalty. First down.
You know, if he's not going to try 47-yard field goals, then, and now with this penalty, he puts his defense out there and gets out of the half without any points.
Becomes a great decision for Jones because the ball is moved back to the Alouette 50s. 36 seconds to go, though, and time for Montreal to get into what they believe is poor speedy rain.
Well, let's watch Chris Williams and Duron Carter. Carter's up and press again up at the top of your screen.
15 penalties in his opening half. Williams against Carter drawing a lot of the attention, but they go over the middle. Catch made by Cunningham, and Willie Jefferson had dropped back, and he makes the tackle, and there's the 16th penalty of this first half. Actually, there's a couple flags.
That was an extra hit coming into the huddle, or into the pile, I believe. Boy, it looked like Chris Williams might have got in behind Carter
Major foul.
again.
Saskatchewan, number 93. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's the newcomer, Mikhail Brooks, the former BC Lion.
Yeah, let's take a look.
And that was Iguavan who made the initial stop, and there's Brooks over the top.
Yeah, you can't with a player in a vulnerable position, either being tackled, going for the ball. As Kyrie Sebert found out, they're not going to allow that play.
And Cunningham, injured on the play, remains down.
There may be, I mean, that was more bang bang and not as egregious as the Hebert hit. But let's take a look at that play again, because I'm looking at this matchup, and Chris Williams is getting a lot of press up at the top. And let's take a look. You see him inside, little shake, and then he gets around. Carter grabs him and gets away with it. Hone in on that matchup in the second half, guarantee you. Especially if Carter's going to play press.
Well, a half minute remaining. It's 1st and 10. Alouettes at the Roughrider 40-yard line. Short drop, one pump, and he'll get dragged down around the line of scrimmage. There is another flag on the play. Zach Evans.
Well, now you've pushed him into field goal range. Back-to-back penalties.
Zach, the former Red Black, who is in his second tour of duty with Saskatchewan.
On the defense, Saskatchewan number 5. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's Preston Butler in the secondary who gets flagged.
So Zach Evans off the hook here, but let's take a look. Ernest Jackson, a little shake and tried outside release. I don't like that one either. Let's take a look at the matchup one more time. Carter this time in the hip pocket. Good coverage on that quick out. So Carter wins out.
It's zero tolerance night here at Mosaic.
Yeah, there's been some soft ones.
On both sides, 170 yards of penalties. Sam Hurl had to do well to stick with Stephen Logan out with 19 seconds to go at the 25. They're in BD range now, but time for Willie to take a shot or two.
I think you're, 2 or 3 plays here before you have to put the field goal if they're efficient. Better hurry, though.
The ball stays in the block. Into the end zone and overthrows Eugene Lewis. And with 4 seconds remaining, the field goal unit comes on.
Well, it worked out for Mike Sherman because that sequence of events that he decided to kick, got the kick out at the 1, got the 2 and out, the ball back, couple penalties by Chris Jones' defense, and he has that same opportunity to kick the 3 points before the half, but much closer than he did.
Alouettes with 154 yards of offense, 127 on 2 plays. Boris Beatty puts it through, and it's a 10-point Alouette lead at the half. So unexpected here on Humboldt Strong night at Mosaic. Let's join Rod Smith on our panel. Welcome back to the Queen City on this Canada Day weekend. The Montreal Alouettes trying to snap a 13-game losing streak, have the lead before the second half. Let's check in with Farhan Lalji and Rider head coach Chris Jones.
Chris, first of all, Brandon Bridge, he's been pulling the ball down a lot. At times he looks confused. Are guys getting open for him, or is he just not getting the ball out?
It's a combination of both. I mean, he's not going through his progression sometimes, and he's coming off a guy too quick. And again, we've got to do a better job of helping him too.
I want to ask you about Deron Carter. What would you say to him about his coverage against Chris Williams, and might we see him play some offense in this half?
Well, he again, it's 1st and 20. He can't be down there tight on Chris Williams. He's got to respect his speed more. And again, Deron's got to put his hands on early in the route.
Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Chris Jones' offense has provided 3 points in the second half last week and 3 points in the first half. And might miss a guy like that on offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And interesting, those 2 interviews at halftime, one from Chris Williams, one from Coach Jones. Jones said he's got to get his hands on Chris Williams if he's going to be in that matchup and that tight. Also no down and distance, but if you're going to play press, as we mentioned, you've got to get your hands on the receiver. Chris Williams, on the other hand, in his interview said sometimes he gets lost back there. Now, that means that they were scouting this and looking to this matchup coming in.
So the second half underway. Horace Beatty kicking it off. Christian Jones under it at the Roughrider 10-yard line. Makes one man miss and just beyond the 25. Average start for the Roughriders, the 28-yard line in the opening half. Montreal average start the 46. So Brandon Bridge has not enjoyed great field position. And it will be a change of quarterback. And we will see David Watford for the first time on the practice roster last year from October on. Was with the Philadelphia Eagles as a wide receiver, 4 years at Virginia, and 1 year with Hampton as a quarterback. Has not been taking reps for very long. Let's see what he can do. He'll start trying to get the ground game going, and Enoch Mwamba and Jamal Westerman put a quick stop to Marcus Thigpen.
Interesting decision. Now for Chris Jones, is this letting Brandon Bridge watch a series or two from the sideline, or is this going to the relief pitcher? Remember, two plays that really affected Brandon Bridge early in the game, and one was a throw to Marcus Thigpen, the other to Naaman Roosevelt. Didn't work out right.
Well, here's Watford under pressure, tripped up as he delivered the football. John Bowman turns up the heat, and it's a 2-and-out for the newcomer at quarterback for Saskatchewan.
I can watch John Bowman play football all day long. I mean, this guy never turns the motor off. Tremendous technique, has continued to improve year in and year out. And when he was on Twitter in the offseason wondering about retirement, I honestly was one of many, many fans that tweeted and said, don't do it. Give us one more year.
So Bartell boots it away. Logan has to backpedal to the 35. And now slides up to the 44-yard line, gets 9 on the return. Sam Hurl, the tackle. The interesting matchup that's developed in this game, Chris Williams against Duron Carter.
And it's the way Duron Carter is playing Chris Williams, playing up and press, but didn't press him, didn't get his hands on him, as Chris Jones mentioned at halftime. Let him run straight through down that sideline. And again, outside release, now he's in a chase position. That one just dropped, but he had beat Duron Carter on the play, was in behind him. Now this is the quick out that Carter covers him, where he just stopped running and covered him on and out the next play.
And off to Tyrell Sutton, and nothing doing there. Samuel McLaughlin up from his weak side linebacker spot with a quick stop on that play. Neither team had anything going on the ground in the first half. Drew Willie, by the way, more yards passing in the opening half, 157, than all of last week when he was held to 128 passing yards against Winnipeg. Tyrell Sutton, 5 carries, 1 yard for the former rushing champion of the Canadian Football League. Second and long. And they're going to go long. They're going to go to Williams. And he can't hang on. Had a step once again, this time Mike Edom, the safety and former Alouette, helped out.
Well, yeah, that's smart by Edom, because if this, first of all, Carter heard his coach's comments, heard his coaching points, and in second and real long, he gave Chris Williams some room. Now, Williams still got behind him, but not for Mike Edom coming over. Good on Mike Edom to know that that's the matchup that Montreal wants to try and exploit, to lean to that side or cheat to that side and help Carter out is a good decision.
Momentarily, Brandon Dozier set up onside, but kicked away by Beatty. And the ball dropped. There'll be a no yards penalty against Montreal. That'll be a 15-yard infraction against the Alouettes, and it was Dozier. So it looks like David Watford on for a second series. Saskatchewan fans anxious to see some offense. From mic'd up players to behind the scenes action, it's CFL Wired.
Hey man, y'all gonna have to beat me there, I promise you that. Y'all gonna have to beat me with that play. Hey, he dropped it! He dropped it! He dropped it! He dropped it! From now on, he don't got no name. His name, 89. That's his name, number 89.
Catch it Thursday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN 3 and 5. That's Humboldt Strong. David Watford's second series and the first series of the game for Jerome Messam, and Watford down the sidelines and a great catch. Shaq Evans held on, and is that still live? They're ruling him down, but a terrific catch to help out a new quarterback make his first completion.
Yeah, it is, and that, again, for the record, is the player replacing Carter when he's playing defense. So he's out there at that number 1 spot, and it's straight down the sideline. Watford puts it hard down the field. He doesn't put much air on it, so Shaq Evans has to reach over his defender to get there.
And now Watford on a roll. He'll run for a first down and hop out of bounds. And on those 2 plays, you see why Chris Jones said physically, he reminds me a little of Henry Burris. Now, he's not suggesting his play will be Hank Burris, but he has the physical tools, strong arm and mobility.
And Tommy Campbell just couldn't find the ball quick enough. That's a great catch by Shaq Evans.
So 2 plays, a couple of first downs, and Rough Riders inside the Alouette 25-yard line. Short drop. Gonna look for Stanford. Gonna get a flag as he worked against the other star corner of the Alouettes, Mitchell White.
Yeah, watch the route. He made an inside move, and when Stanford tried to get back outside to that corner angle.
Defensive pass interference.
That's what happened.
Montreal number 12. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down, Saskatchewan.
Nice route running from Josh Stanford. Nice little in cut. In cut right here, and then back to the corner, and watch the contact by Mitchell White.
Three plays, 3 first downs for Saskatchewan with Watford on this series. This is just the second time they've been in the red zone this season. Did not get there last week in the loss against Ottawa.
It didn't look like a lot of contact from that long shot. That's our all-24 shot showing every player on the field, but there was sort of a redirect past 5 yards.
Got the spot of the ball correctly, and now Roosevelt on the fly sweep. That doesn't work. Snuffed out by Jamal Westerman.
Watford wanted that one back because that's an option for David Watford to ride that with Naaman Roosevelt and possibly pull it. Roosevelt's coming across. Watch him now. Right after he gave it to Roosevelt, here, see, he's watching, and now he gives it to him, but he wants to run up the middle. Just as he let it go, he went, oh, I could be scoring right now, and then he wanted it back.
And lost a half yard. We'll call it 2nd 10. Quarterback draw. Straight ahead. Flag down at the 5-yard line. Looks like he's a yard short of the first down.
Coming back.
I had a vision of Kerry Joseph there on the quarterback draw. But this one is coming back. Not going to give us a number yet.
Saskatchewan, number 67. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
It's the center, Dan Clark.
On Woody Barron, because it looks like he tried to make the tackle. Dan Clark is arguing this. There have been both ways. Some soft calls. I mean, that looked like a defensive lineman trying to dive at the legs of that quarterback in Watford to make the tackle, and Clark saying he just dove. I didn't throw him to the ground.
Both teams 10 penalties, and now both into triple figures in penalty yards.
But I'd say 4 each. Yep. Pretty soft ones.
So 2nd and 20. And Watford swings it to Thigpen. That doesn't work. Chris Aki with the quick takedown.
Yeah, the play didn't work because it's got to take a little longer to develop. You've got to let the defensive linebackers and DBs drop off into coverage and then swing it out. Watford just rushed it a little bit, and Chris Aki just was standing right beside him.
39th possession for Chris Jones's offense this year. Held so far to just a pair of touchdowns. And now Lowther looks for the 2nd field goal for Saskatchewan. Get them within a converted touchdown, and he nails that. So David Watford moves the offense. They settle for 3. They're within 7. At the NHL Awards, Darcy Hogan, the late head coach of the Humboldt Broncos, was honored. His wife, Christina, accepted the Willie O'Ree Award and read the court covenant that's on the wall outside the Humboldt Bronco dressing room suites. I thought of you because what a terrific coach who wasn't just worried about wins and championships. In fact, as his wife mentioned, all about becoming a better person. And there's some important points there that we can all take away.
Well, absolutely. Screenshot that, because that's an outstanding philosophy that will be carried forward with the Humboldt Broncos.
Here, Drew Willie pulling it down, taking off, and reaching the 40-yard line.
But I think there's one line in there that those who have survived the tragedy, and it's this word right here, the word believe.
And with that, I wanted to say hello to Lane Matichuk, who's in Saskatoon City Hospital, recovering still from the accident 3 months ago. And Lane, we want to let you know that we believe, and our best to you and your family. Second down for Willie, scrambling out of the pocket, and in trouble, and Charleston Hughes closes down on Willie, who's been shaken up, it would appear.
Well, I think on both those plays, Chris, because you saw the safety in Mike Edom help Deron Carter on that one play, Drew Willie comes out in this series and he looks to the wide field and away from that matchup. If the safety's going to cheat to the short side of the field, then it looked like Drew Willie wanted to try and go to the wide side, and he didn't see what he liked over there. Back-to-back plays where he went down, had to run it.
So Willie up into the sidelines, but Philip Blake, the left guard, is slow to get to his feet, and he'll hobble off. Well, the Roughriders defense gets a quick stop. And after that drive that resulted in 3, they'll get the football right back here midway through the third quarter. Beatty's boot, a short one taken on the fly. And Glenn Love, not expecting the short boot, was in that halo area. Christian Jones does a good job to run onto the football and draw the 15-yard penalty. So the Roughriders may have a little momentum. The veteran Charleston Hughes helping get Saskatchewan the football right back. On Wednesday, September 12th, TSN, in partnership with the Humboldt Broncos and the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, proudly bring you the Broncos season opener against the Nipawin Hawks, live from Humboldt. Join our on-site panel for an hour-long pregame show to honor those lost and affected by the team's April 6th tragedy, and look forward to the season to come. Coverage begins 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, across the TSN network and on CTV Saskatchewan. David Watford cleared that out of the backfield, and a drop for Marcus Thigpen, who's had trouble catching the football, and Drew Willie headed to the locker room for concussion protocol, we believe.
Yeah, he after that hit from Charleston Hughes on the last series, he went straight to the doctor, to the medical staff on the sideline. In fact, they went and got him, and they took him through the protocol, started looking at the eyes, make sure the pupils are dilating, all the different tests that they go through, asking the questions, and you can tell he looks like he's in a little bit of distress there. So they're going to go through the protocol. We're going to see a backup quarterback from Montreal.
2nd and 10. Watford is picked off. It's Joe Burnett in his first Alouette game, scampering down to the 31-yard line. That's the 3rd Alouette interception of the game, and the first tossed by the newcomer as the Alouettes try to take flight.
Well, you give a struggling team hope, and watch out, because I guarantee there weren't many picking Montreal to win this game, but you start giving them hope, they start making a couple plays, and they start to believe in themselves. And it looks like they are right now. That's just a straight-out read of the quarterback's eyes and throwing motion. Joe Burnett, Chris, looked at David Watford staring down Naaman Rosedale.
13th career interception for the former Eskimo and Stampeder. Jeff Matthews in at quarterback. His first pass gets knocked down.
Former Hamilton Tiger Cat, Jeff Matthews from Cornell.
Got the last 3 series last week against Winnipeg. A couple of turnovers late in that game and a punt. So He's looking to generate his initial first down as an Alouette quarterback. Well, they've worked on the celebration, the secondary guys. Toasting each other on the sidelines for another interception. 2nd and 10. Matthews stands in, looks for Williams, and Williams has it, but did not have a foot down as now Matthews goes to work against Duron Carter.
Well, coverage-wise, here's how Chris Jones is going to try and help out Duron Carter and the guys in man-to-man. They're going to play what's called like a 2-deep zone. Deep help here, and it's called cover 2-man. So you got 2 deep guys over the top, and everybody else, including Duron Carter, in man-to-man. That gives you help over the top on these deep throws to Chris Williams with the safety. In this case, it was Ed Gainey over the top, but it's double coverage. Now, Williams comes up with a catch, but he's out of bounds.
Beatty from 38 yards out. And Boris Beatty puts it through out of the hold of Jeff Matthews. And the Burnett interception sets up 3 and restores the 10-point Montreal lead. There's the former Stampeder with the pickoff for the Alouettes. Well, on this Humboldt Strong night, we wanted to pay tribute to Tyler Bieber, the late play-by-play man of the Humboldt Broncos, one of the 16 who perished in the crash. Not just a play-by-play voice, but a guy who loved football, was a high school football coach, and also had a CFL Twitter handle, CFL Daily, with more. Here's Farhan.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he might be the player that's got the closest connection to football and the Riders. You know, he almost didn't take the play-by-play job with the Broncos because he was afraid it was going to interfere with his volunteer high school football coaching. In fact, at one point, his parents thought that down the road he would one day be the head coach of the Roughriders. Not only was he a fan of the green and white, but he was also a big fan of the New England Patriots. And when Robert Kraft, the Patriots owner, found that out and found out that he had passed away, he sent flowers to the Bieber family home and made a call shortly before his funeral. He would have definitely been here tonight had he been one of the survivors. He was a regular at these games at Mosaic.
You know, the support for the Humboldt community has gone well beyond the borders of Saskatchewan or Canada.
Trey Mason a catch out of the backfield and a Rough Rider first down. Oh, it's close to a first down. Looks like it'll be 2nd and short.
Well, now we see if David Watford can bounce back from adversity.
6'2", 212, just looking for the first down at the 45.
I'm just going to throw this question out there because I'm sure it'll be debated. Did Chris Jones take Brandon Bridge out too soon? I think there were 2 plays in the first half that affected his confidence. One was the first play down the sideline to Thigpen that was dropped. And the second was one to Naaman Roosevelt that went through his hands and was intercepted. I think when those 2 plays happen, I'm not giving Brandon Bridge a complete alibi here, except for to say when a young quarterback has that happen to him early, it can really shake him.
Watford guns that complete to Shaq Evans, tossed down by Dominique Ellis. Well, Watford's thrown 1 interception, but otherwise has looked good for a guy who has had limited reps so far with the Rough Riders. Number 3 until a week ago. You're right, though, that first drop by Thigpen not only might have impacted the confidence level of Bridge, but also the confidence level of the Alouettes, who come in here after being spanked 56-10. Second down, that pass out of the reach of Williams-Lambert.
Yeah, and it's a challenge now for the Riders coaching staff, Stephen McAdoo, to try and call a game. Now you're down by 10, so that's a factor when it comes to the run game, although there's still lots of time. A full quarter, I don't think you completely abandon it. And you've got a couple of quarterbacks that are trying to find their way, and Watford missed an open target there.
Third down, anything on here for Saskatchewan on 3rd and 3 from near midfield? Well, they're going to kick away. Logan up over the 25 and tossed down there. Williams Lambert, the tackle.
Skyscraper, starring Dwayne Johnson, in theaters July 13th.
Flag on the return against the Alouettes, so just under 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Alouettes protecting a 10-point lead. Jeff Matthews into the game for Drew Willie, who has been shaken up and gone to the dressing room.
One of the issues for Montreal with the quarterback position is that Matthew Schultz was the guy that came out of training camp as number 2 behind Drew Willie. He got hurt, so he's not available. Jeff Matthews is late to the party, so he's just trying to get the playbook down. Vernon Adams Jr. just joined the team. He's next in line. Former Rider.
Worst field position start. They'll try and get some running room for Tyrell Sutton up over the 10-yard line.
You know Vernon Adams Jr. would love to get in this football game, but again, just limited reps for him.
Boy, the search is on. Vernon Adams reacquired this week. They also signed Kenny Hill Jr., whose dad was a former Montreal Expo pitcher and a guy who broke some of Johnny Manziel's records at Texas A&M.
Well, the Montreal Alouettes have still not replaced Anthony Calvert.
This is not a recording.
No.
Matthews stands in, lets it fly. Williams got in behind and has another big catch as they flip the field behind Durant Carter again.
Going to play that press. He's going to get up there now. At least he gave him an outside release, but he didn't get his hands in front of him. Didn't shuffle his feet to redirect the receiver or slow him off the line of scrimmage. Once you get in behind and in a chase, you better have over-the-top help. Chris Williams has shown us his speed today, and Carter knows it firsthand.
3 catches, 130 yards. Back in 2016, in the first 3 weeks of the year, Chris Williams had 493 yards receiving. Known for the big play. Tyrell Sutton drawn. Willie Jefferson is there. Good night for Jefferson. Mentioned didn't have a stat last week, but a couple of sacks. And that play on defense tonight.
Well, I'm interested to see now how Carter plays this. You're looking now at 2nd and 13. Carter's in the short side, the near side, right in front of the Riders bench. Now, is he going to give Chris Williams some space? Are they going to give him some help with Ed Gainey or the safety over the top? Doesn't look like there's going to be help, but he's going to be up in that press again.
2nd and 13. Dumps it off underneath, and Tyrell Sutton gets drilled. Toby Antigua in that defensive end rotation with the stop just across midfield, and the punt team comes on.
Chris Williams called just a 3-deep zone that time, so Carter again getting some help by the play call. That was, he showed press, then he dropped out of there, and his responsibility was just that short flat zone. Now Williams didn't have a go route, but he had 3 deep over the top.
Christian Jones lets that bounce into the end zone, and it will be a rouge for the Alouettes, now up by 11.
The Alouettes present the new Budweiser Friday Night Lights. Tickets, MontrealAlouette.com.
Ottawa next up. Let's go back to the sidelines. Farhan?
Yeah, guys, the trainer is still in the Alouettes locker room with Drew Willie. The team doctor is out here on the bench looking at Philip Blake's left foot. They hope to get Blake back in the game at quarter time. The doctor will then go back into the locker room to check on Willie to see if he can return. Right now, they're just taking their time. They don't want to rush it when it comes to head injuries.
Boy, the depth at quarterback being tested around the league, but in particular, these two teams. Trey Mason with a burst. Good first down production for Mason there, up to the 43. Aki and Mwamba combine on the tackle. Seen Thigpen, Mason, and maybe a series with Messam. It's second and short. Mason will move the chains.
This game is still in the balance. You still have a full quarter to go, and what I haven't seen a lot of is Marcus Thigpen out of the backfield running the ball. We haven't seen Jerome Messam basically at all in this game. I know they're behind, but they're not behind at a point here for Saskatchewan that they need to completely abandon the run and throw it every down. So it looks like back-to-back runs here to end the quarter.
Jerome Messam looking on, 50 yards rushing for the Roughriders so far. Mason upended, a terrific tackle by Enoch Mwamba once again. 11 tackles for Mwamba last week, one on the final play here. Milt Stiegel is in the building, I think. And the Alouettes trying to end the losing streak. Lead by 11 at three-quarter time. Check the numbers through three quarters with the Alouettes trying to end the losing streak, and they've relied on some big plays to generate the offense they've had tonight.
Well, it's been a game with inside the game. It's the matchup Chris Williams against Duron Carter, and we'll continue to follow in the fourth. And I'm just going to say it, and this game is at times about opinion, about driving the debate, and I think Brandon Bridge was pulled too soon. I really do. I think Brandon Bridge is any other quarterback. He probably gets to start the third quarter, and if he still can't find it, then you make a change. I think because it's Brandon Bridge, because it's Canadian quarterback, there's less patience. I'm just going to say it and let the debate begin.
David Watford's going to have his say here in the fourth quarter. It'll be interesting to see if the man that has replaced Bridge can rally this team in the fourth. Rolling out here, and that's incomplete. Intended for Thigpen. Tommy Campbell was in the vicinity. Man, Watford and Thigpen try and get on the same page, but you're right, a guy that hasn't had a lot of reps.
Well, and you know, it's not necessarily the play of David Watford that is the reason I said that. I just, you know, I've seen many a quarterback with great resumes from the U.S., guys like Homer Jordan, and there's a lot of them that have had ample opportunity after opportunity to establish themselves, go through some low points, and battle themselves back out of those low points to become a starter. I'm not sure Brandon Bridge throughout his career has been given that opportunity.
And there's nothing fair about pro football, but
no,
at the same time, is it fair for Watford to get thrown in the fire maybe before he's ready to be productive? Although we have seen some good things from number 9 so far.
But it will be debated. As will Duron Carter playing offense or defense.
They debate who should be the starting left tackle here.
Yeah, you're right.
There's Matthews. Logan on the hitch, and that's well defended. Moncrief with another tackle.
Here comes the new formation. Cameron Judge comes in. Toby Antigua comes in. And out comes Sam Hurl.
I was just checking back, Suits. We've been watching Williams versus Carter, and I mentioned that game of Mosaic. It was 2015. Henry Burris was the quarterback, and late in the game they just went almost exclusively to Williams. He had 8 catches, 137 yards, and a touchdown in that game. Matthews not going to get any time to get this off. Charleston Hughes has his 4th sack of the year in game number 150 of his distinguished Canadian Football League career.
Let's take a look at Charleston Hughes at work. That patent stand-up position. Little juke inside like he's carrying the football like a running back. And then outside. And defensively, in a man look, Deron Carter moved and covered a different player. They put Ed Gainey on that last play on Chris Williams.
3-time sack champion. Has his 103rd career sack. This one sailed to the 40. Christian Jones got something on the return. Broke a tackle. And down inside the 30. And still going. And they say he tapped out at around the 13-yard line. But Christian Jones flips the field. And maybe that's the play the Saskatchewan Roughriders needed. Touchdown saving tackle by Ryder Stone. Christian Jones, 56-yard punt return.
Gets a nice block here from one of the safeties, Marc-Olivier Bruyette, who just gets enough of the kick-out block here to open up that hole for Christian Jones, and then he breaks a couple of tackles on his way to a possible momentum swing here if Watford can put it in the end zone.
Best field position start, second time in the red zone. Watford throws, complete. Roosevelt tackled at the 5-yard line by Dominic Ellis.
Oh, and that was good timing and a lot more controlled and confident throw from Watford. Just a quick out, but watch the timing on the throw. 1-2, let it go. Impossible to defend.
So it's a first down, first and goal at the 5. One for 2 in the red zone this year. Fade, end zone. Roosevelt, touchdown. Outfought Dominic Ellis in the end zone. And the Roughriders get closer.
That's exactly what he did. Watford's just trusting Naaman Roosevelt's going to make the play. Catches it on the back of the neck of the defender. Dominic Ellis was in ideal position, and Roosevelt won the battle.
Second touchdown catch of the year for Roosevelt. They go for 2 now, trying to get within a field goal after the first touchdown pass in the Canadian Football League for David Watford. Big pin in the backfield. And that one through the hands of Roosevelt, as he had plenty of heat on that. And it is a 5-point game, but there is a flag, and we get another chance at this.
It may. That wasn't about the hands or the heat on the throw.
Oh, looks like against Saskatchewan on a pick.
Offensive pass interference. Saskatchewan. This penalty's declined. Convert is unsuccessful.
And this happens to even veteran receivers. He just didn't get his head around fast enough.
First time they try a 2-point convert this year, unsuccessful, but Naaman Roosevelt with a spectacular catch. And now within 5 of the lead. The most incredible season yet, as everyday heroes take on the race. The Amazing Race Canada Heroes Edition. New season starting Tuesday at 8, 9 Mountain on CTV. Well, it gets interesting.
What's up? Nina, look. Bob, Nina, Josh, Aaron, Adina, Jalen, Josh. Everybody back home.
There's the Rolodex.
And there are the Humboldt Strong shoes. 2 plays, 17 yards and a touchdown after the 56-yard return by Christian Jones. Here's Stephen Logan. And he can't get going much past the 25-yard line.
Well, this is one of the great touchdown catches you're going to see this year. I mean, he's going to battle with Dominic Ellis from that number 2 spot. And watch him go over the top of Ellis to come back and get that ball. Ball a little bit underthrown. That's not a back shoulder throw. It's just an underthrown pass. But Naaman Roosevelt wins that battle, as you mentioned, and then a pick on the 2-point convert here by Evans, and the right call made by the official here. There's also a drop by Roosevelt.
Now the Alouettes first down at their own 28, just 7 first downs in the game. And Matthews picked it over the middle, and there's another drop. Eugene Lewis couldn't hang on at about the 50-yard line.
Can't throw it any better. Can't throw it any better. Been a few, and he knows it. Points to himself. Time up front, first down. Over the linebacker, Sam Hurl. That dropped.
Fourth drop by Alouette. Receivers on the night. And they'll amp it up here at Mosaic. 2nd and 10. Just dumps it off. Tyrell Sutton. And he dropped the football. And it looks like the Roughriders get on it. Still a scramble down there underneath.
There's your ref cam. Take you right into one of those piles.
Guy could get hurt. There's the signal. And it is Saskatchewan football. Samuel Aguavin separates Sutton from the wall.
See, Sutton tries a spin move here. But Samuel Aguavin goes and actually hits the ball. He tackles the football. Puts his left shoulder right into the ball as Sutton's trying to execute that spin move. Gets help from Cameron Judge. And the ball is turned over in plus territory.
And if you've wondered what happens at the bottom of those piles, well, we've got a little indication.
Take you right in there.
So back-to-back starts for Saskatchewan, deep in Montreal territory.
There he is to the right.
Rockford kept it on the quarterback option. It wasn't going to work either way. Thigpen almost was tackled before the handoff, and Brandon Dozier with the quick stop to that play.
You know, when coaches say there's 3 or 4 big plays in a football game that determine the outcome, I would suggest this is one of them.
Well, the big plays have started to go Saskatchewan's way. Christian Jones punt return. The catch by Roosevelt in the end zone. A fumble recovery, and now what do they do on 2nd and 8? Flush from the pocket. Looks downfield and has a completion. Caleb Hawley, I believe his first catch of the game.
Right at the marker.
And right at the first down stick. And we're going to get a measurement. Marking him out at the 23.
John Bowman is the reason that David Watford had to escape from the pocket. This will be close enough that even if it's short, I'm sure Chris Jones goes for it here.
Yeah, it should be the length of the football one way or the other, and that's how close it is. So it will be 3rd down.
And with a yard off the ball, you'd think these are pretty much a given, but lots can happen. If you hesitate with the snap at all, a guy like John Bowman shoots a gap. But there's no question that it's the right decision. You go for it here, 3rd and inches, plus territory.
Looked poised on that throw, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. No, it was a good one. Good decision. Got out of the pocket, found a target. was flushed out by that man.
Nothing's come easy for the Alouettes. 323 days since their last win. A victory over the Toronto Argonauts in the Argos' first stop without Ricky Ray last year. And a flag down, and it looked like it was the Roughriders procedure.
It may have been.
Was it right tackle Thaddeus Coleman?
Or were they drawn? This is where the video official, not in the game, but watching it on video, is going to help with this decision.
Really one of the best innovations we've seen in the last season.
But it did look live like it was Saskatchewan early movement.
Yeah, right side of the offensive line.
Offside, Montreal.
Wow.
5-yard penalty. First down.
So they were drawn. But let's take a look down the line. Didn't line up offside. No defender. Well, there's the hand. There's the hand. That's what you couldn't see live. As soon as that hand it moved into the neutral zone.
So one hand moved. You did see an offensive lineman, but the
after the fact,
the hand into the zone first. There's Watford sprinting, takes off, and runs out at the 17-yard line.
I guarantee you John Bowman's going back in that defensive huddle right now. He's going to remind everyone that with this quarterback, much like Brandon Bridge, they're going to have to contain him, keep him in the pocket. He looks like he can become more dangerous when he gets outside and on the run. In that it's his first game, he's just going to catch his breath. One of the two things.
3 touchdowns, 43 drives so far this year. Duron Carter has not seen an offensive rep, I don't believe, tonight.
No.
Second and 9. Is 82 the prime target? Throwing into the end zone, off the upright with Caleb Hawley loose. And the Alouettes get an enormous break.
Were they ever? Because he was wide open. Open by 3-4 yards. Let's take a look at the ref cam's angle.
So they settle for a field goal attempt. Lowther puts that through. And now it's a 2-point game. Roughriders chipping away. Just under 9 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. Big crowd and emotional pregame. Humboldt strong, the Humboldt strong showdown game, and congratulations again to the Roughriders organization for a job well done.
Yeah, you know, Chris, we always talk about courage in the game, courage to go over the middle, courage to hang in there, and then something happens where we see real courage in real life, and that's what we've seen tonight. And I just want to get a quick shout out as one of the examples of that to one of the survivors of that crash, and that's Jacob Wasserman, who is in a wheelchair. He got to meet with Rick Hansen, and Jacob, from that meeting, he basically created his philosophy moving forward, which he said there's no limitations in the world as long as you don't put them on yourself. And Jason, in his wheelchair, has said already coming out of this accident that he wants to play sledge hockey, and he's showing tremendous courage. And we are with all of that community, top to bottom, and will be for the long haul.
Second down conversion here, Ernest Jackson. And that's first catch of the game for the former Eastern MOP, and an important first down for Montreal, just their 8th of the game.
Boy, it's a mystery when it comes to Ernest Jackson. Just the monster numbers in Ottawa. And you scratch your head. What's happened?
Well, he's only been targeted twice, one drop, and now a big catch to convert. And B.J. Cunningham on the slant. And Matthews Matthews suddenly has Montreal in Saskatchewan territory.
Big play because it gets him back into field goal range at the very least to match that field goal. I just want to address that quickly. He's only been targeted twice. I've heard receivers, including Milt, over and over say, well, they didn't throw the ball to me because if you're open, you'll be targeted. So get open.
Was Milt not getting open?
Well, no, Milt got open.
18 there to Cunningham. Back-to-back first downs. And a flag as they don't get the play off in time.
Time count violation, Montreal, number 4. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Jeff Matthews 6 for 9, 81 yards in relief of Drew Willie. But now looking at 1st and 15.
And just on the bubble as far as field goal range now, Coach Sherman has not kicked the 47. He was another 48 attempt. He'd be beyond that here.
That's got to be at least job 1 for the Alouettes. Field goal range. They screen it here to Sutton. And Sutton spins off contact. There's a determined veteran trying to make up for the fumble in the last series, and some yards after contact for Tyrell Sutton.
Yeah, I went right back to the same move, too.
Late flag after they unpile. Who's this on?
Almost identical on that spin, but this time he hangs onto the ball and picks up extra yards after contact.
Zach Evans shaken up. Duron Carter in a bit of a debate. Not sure whether he is the player that was flagged or whether responding to somebody on the other side who did something to draw the penalty.
After the play, objectional conduct, number 89, Saskatchewan. 10-yard penalty, first down, Montreal.
Wow.
Well, his night doesn't get any better, and now Alouettes are in field goal range. Evans assisted to the sidelines.
Talking an important 2-point game. You just cannot take penalties after the whistle. I mean, he's not only yapping at the official, but made a motion like he might make contact with the official, and that will draw the flag.
Ed Gainey matched up, as you mentioned, Suits. They've made the switch. Gainey against Williams. Quarterback draw from Matthews. And he got away from Charleston Hughes to at least advance to the 20. Maybe got 3.
Jeff Matthews settles in a little bit here last couple of series. He had that one drop over the middle to Eugene Lewis. That was a very good throw. And this has been a nice answer to the field goal the Riders just kicked.
Charleston Hughes with a sack earlier against Matthews. The 29th different quarterback that he has dropped.
Chris Williams back on Duron Carter. Down by the numbers.
2nd and 7. Out of his hands quickly, and as Jackson's got it, but wrestled down short of the first down. He'll be a couple of yards short because of Derek Moncrief. Do you go on 3rd and 2 or take the points to make sure you've got a lead of beyond a field goal?
Trust in your defense and take the points here.
Well, it doesn't look like he's going to do that.
Right now, field goal beats you.
Oh, on comes the field goal unit. You would think that would be the automatic call here.
Unless they're trying to just get him to jump off sides. They have to hustle now to get this. They got 5 seconds.
And Saskatchewan's going to call timeout.
Timeout, Saskatchewan.
Did Saskatchewan have too many men?
I was going to say.
3, 5, 7. Not sure.
We're trying to count.
I think they've got the right complement, but for some reason,
yeah, he wasn't sure. I think they were looking at it because of the quick change from Coach Sherman to bring in his field goal team. They weren't sure they had the right number or the right set and burn a timeout.
Beatty looks for his 4th of the night. From 21 out with Matthews the holder. Puts it through, and it's a 20-15 lead for the Alouettes. I think Mike Sherman might have hesitated just to know exactly.
Yeah, I think so too.
On his sideline, if it was 3rd and 1 or 3rd and a full 2 yards.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's even a debate. You've got to widen the margin beyond that field goal. But he wanted to know exactly where he was on the field, and there's what they're trying to stop right now.
Shreveport Pirates, the longest prior to 1950. The Hamilton Wildcats in 48 lost 16 consecutive games. They have points in the 4th quarter tonight. The Alouettes had not scored 4th quarter points in the previous 4 games, or 6 of the last 7. Tipped in the air and incomplete. That one hung up for grabs after the initial deflection. And it will be 2nd and 10. Is that John Bowman again?
Yeah, he knows when the game's on the line. He's a guy who's been through it before, been through many battles. They don't block him off the edge. He gets his hands up, tries to find the football.
Play a little volleyball at the end of that.
Nice play by Enoch Mwama to let up on that hit. He may have taken a penalty here after the ball was thrown if he finishes and follows through on that.
John Bowman will be 36 on July 19th. The old guy still got game. 2nd and 10. Watford pulls it down. Can he get to the first down? No. Nope. Angled out. Dominique Ellis closed down the lane, and the Roughriders are going to have to punt with just under 4 minutes left.
And it's John Bowman again who causes the problems. I mean, John Bowman, from the very beginning of this game, I want to say it was the first series, he made 2 plays. He's a guy who keeps working against the double team to flush David Watford out of the pocket, get him on the run. The DBs rally, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders got to kick it. He just got quiet in here.
Bartel to Logan. Just inside his 30. Gets outside. Look at that speed. Stefan Logan dragged down from behind in Rough Rider territory at the 43-yard line. Speaking of old guys, 37-year-old Stefan Logan still got a burst, doesn't he?
Well, he does. He's got another gear, and even when this team has struggled out of the gate in their first 2 losses, Stefan Logan did not give up, did not stop running hard. Every single return.
Glenn Love, who's had a good night, provided a block to help spring the speedy Logan. Closing in on the all-time Alouette punt return record held by Dickie Harris. Now Sutton found a little crease down to the 37-yard line. You're old enough to remember Dickie Harris, I think, aren't you?
Well, I mean, are you asking if I played against? Or?
Not quite.
No, I'm not that old.
One of Marv Levy's guys from the past. 5-point game. We hit the 3-minute warning at Mosaic. Take a look at the Wake Forest skid. We'll be right back here at Mosaic. Next Thursday, the Hamilton Ticats, led by Jeremiah Masoli. Alouettes play host to Ottawa. Eskimos in Toronto. BC at Winnipeg on Saturday. So it's 2nd and 5. Lavoie in the backfield as the Alouettes go 2 back, and here comes Saskatchewan showing pressure. And Matthews throws it into the ground. Lavoie, the intended target, with Moncrief in good defensive position.
I think Chris Jones just sent as many as he possibly could. In fact, he may have left 1 or 2 guys uncovered. He just he loaded up the line of scrimmage. I got to 10. It was 9. I maybe double-clicked on Sam Hurl there, but 9 on the line of scrimmage. That's full blitz.
Longest field goal attempt of the night. They've avoided this range so far, but now looking for an 8-point lead. 45 out, and it's straight down the middle for Boris Beatty.
That's a great hold, too. That's a tough hold. And I know we never talk about that guy.
Oh, we should.
But we should, because Jeff Matthews from the side has to pull this down. It's on that front knee, and he has to get it around, get the laces out, get his hand out of the way. See how that's in behind his knee? That's a tough one to get when you got that front knee down. But it's a good hold. Gave Beatty a chance.
Shades of 89, and the distance Beatty had makes you wonder if they should have tried earlier a couple of those long rangers, but it is an 8-point advantage, and Jeff Matthews has done the job coming in relief. He's produced 10 points in relief of the injured Drew Willie, who put 13 on the board. But the game far from done.
Well, David Watford can go out there if he can push this game to overtime. You know he earns another start next week if Zach Collaros is not available.
He's put 12 points up in the second half in relief of Brandon Bridge. A big boot in the end zone, and Christian Jones is taken down. And Glenn Love, how about that? He was signed this week. He's made at least 3 special teams tackles. He made a block on the Logan return, and he's been a valuable addition.
Oh, he's a player. I mean, Glenn Love has been around. I mean, he's got 7 years of experience, and just anything you ask him to do, he does it well. Glenn Love is a great add for Montreal, and that's a big block because Christian Jones can get it done. He already has 1 big return here tonight, and he had an alley there.
Ron Carter is out on offense for the first time tonight with his team down by 8. Let's see if Watford goes his way. Trying to dump it off underneath to Thigpen. And it's incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Ran a curl route, about 12 yards there. And may have been open if the ball is thrown in on time. Looks like he's drawn Tommy Campbell as the corner for Montreal.
Now that's a matchup.
That's going to be fun too, just for this last 234.
73 catches, 1,043 yards, and 8 touchdowns last year. 10th in the league so far this season.
They're putting him to the field, Chris. They're going to take Duron Carter, put him out to the field, and
up against Mitchell White.
Yeah.
So far this year, 3 catches, 36. Watford's got a strong arm. He puts it over the middle, and it's brought down by Roosevelt. And Roosevelt slow to get up after that hellacious shot. Paid the price for the first down catch. And it, I believe, was the safety Joe Burnett who unloaded.
Yeah, he had to go up to get it. This ball floats a little bit on Watford, and he has to climb the ladder. And is it Dozier?
Dozier.
And Burnett. I think got the inside of his knee.
But a first down grab, Watford far side, and overthrows Josh Stanford, and White was in the vicinity. 6 interceptions in his last 12 games.
Plays way off, almost baiting Watford to go ahead and try him on an intermediate route in this curl, and then he just jumps it.
David Watford 8 for 18 on the night. Brandon Bridge was 8 for 18. 2nd and 10. There's a 9th completion underneath, and Carter, after contact, may have got an extra yard. Let's see how close he is. Looks like he'll be a yard short of a first down, and Chris Jones out to survey how much he needs.
Chris Jones is probably suggesting he wants to get a measurement, but again, that's up to the officials, not the coach can't call for it.
Have to get beyond the 43. They're just edging past the 42, so it's going to be third and more than a yard. And they hand it off straight ahead, and it's Thigpen breaking a tackle.
Boy, risky. You go shotgun on 3rd and 1, right out of the song, by the way. Direct class.
Thursday night Travis Lulay to sing. 3rd and 1 from the gun.
3rd and 1 from the gun, and that's exactly what they did. Risky to give the ball. Now you're 4 yards off the line of scrimmage here, and it was a little choppy too. If that penetration from Dozier gets there from he gets in the backfield like that.
Although it looked like they spread the Alouette defense anticipating a pass with a 3-man front. Stay on the field here now. The clock running under 90 seconds to go, and David Watford's got to call a timeout. And
Ron Carter,
Saskatchewan,
coming a little unhinged there right after the timeout call. Damon Roosevelt, by the way, back on the field after taking that hit a couple plays ago.
And the fans, you could hear their tension as the clock was ticking on their team, and finally the timeout had to be taken. And so the Roughriders have used their final timeout. And it's white knuckle time here at Mosaic. Two teams split last year. Remember that season opening game? Darian Durant and the Alouettes held on to win 17-16. Riders answered with a thorough 37-12 victory in the rematch here. These two teams have split their last 10 games. This not quite up to the standards of the July 1st meeting in 2010, which might be my favorite ever regular season game. A catch there by Williams-Lambert.
John Bowman looked to the official in disgust. He thought that there was a penalty when he tried to get up the field and lost his helmet.
That game on July 1st, 2010 went to overtime. Let's take a look at what happened to Bowman, who was in that game. Coleman dislodging the helmet. That game went to overtime, finished 54-51 with over 1,100 yards of offense.
Nice.
We're not going to get to 1,100 yards of offense. We might get to overtime tonight. Watford in some trouble. Robinson can't reach him. And Watford runs for a first down, but there is a flag back in the Rough Rider backfield. And it looks like holding Saskatchewan.
Holding Saskatchewan, number 8. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Marcus Thigpen.
I think it was up against Chris Aki, and he steps up here. There's Thigpen in the backfield, and Aki's going to come up just from the right of your screen. Now he makes contact there. Now when Aki tries to redirect in this direction, Marcus Thigpen grabs his shirt. Again, not a long grab. One of those, okay.
And Tommy Campbell getting attention, so Campbell has to come out for 3 plays, and there's the shutdown corner not available for Mike Sherman at this critical juncture.
Joe Burnett's played, I think, every position in the secondary, so that's a possibility. And they got Chip Cox that they could put back at safety for sure.
Najee Murray comes in, native of Steubenville, Ohio, same hometown as Zach Collaros. And I think, does Campbell need some assistance going off, or just no last-minute destruction for
Well, he has to go.
Najee Murray.
He has to go for 3 plays now, for sure.
We had a neat conversation with Drew Willie, who said he sat beside Campbell on the flight to Vancouver, and they just kind of picked each other's brains about offense, defensive play, and a real student of the game. And you saw before he left, he wanted to have one quick word with Murray, who has to come into the game.
And covered Duron Carter.
1st and 20, a play fake to think 10. Watford on a roll, and he has to throw that away as pressure was coming from Enoch Mwamba.
Oh, was it ever. Closing quickly. I mean, Enoch Mwamba is in charge of spying and secondary contain. That allows his defensive end to go hard and crash down on the run, but he's secondary contained. That means if the quarterback does break outside, he's got to track him down, and that's exactly what Mwamba does. That's closing speed.
Released by the Roughriders and trying to come back to haunt them. Drive started on the Roughrider 20. 9th play of the drive from their 49. 2nd and 20. 3-man rush shot, and it's up for grabs. Jump ball, and Murray brings it down. Najee Murray, who comes in for Tommy Campbell, wants the souvenir as he takes it away from Duron Carter.
There was a holding penalty against Saskatchewan anyway, even if Carter caught it. It's declined because of the interception. And Montreal poised to end the losing streak here.
So Campbell with a late word before he left the field for his replacement, and he comes up with the interception.
Straight go route, they're going to test him. With Tommy Campbell out of the lineup and the rookie in there, why not take a shot at him? But that ball way underthrown. And Najee Murray gets a chance to make the big play with the game on the line.
4th interception tossed by a Rider quarterback tonight. 2 for Bridge, 2 for Watford. And Jeff Matthews takes a look over his shoulder at the time on the clock. Tyrell Sutton has been held in check in this game, his 10th carry. And
I don't think the coaching staff for Saskatchewan can stop the clock again.
No, they're done.
Yeah, they burned both timeouts, so they need a quick 2-and-out here to get the ball back. Montreal will use all the time they can in the 20-second clock on both plays. They might have a chance for one Hail Mary.
With 2 seconds remaining on 2nd down. Sutton off the right side. Up at the 35, short of the 1st down. 32 seconds remaining. So they can tick it down to about 13 seconds.
Yep.
Punt the ball away, and one play perhaps for Saskatchewan. Otherwise, Mike Sherman's got his first Canadian Football League win. And the Alouettes have ended the drought at 13 consecutive losses.
They're going to leave Jeff Matthews out there to run this clock down.
Likely take the timeout with 13 seconds to go.
Exactly. Take it right down to that 1 second mark. Then they'll take the timeout. You see, there they go. So you're right. It's at 13 seconds.
Montreal.
Well, a team that was dismantled last week, 56-10 in their home opener. Hard to take any positives out of that, but somehow Mike Sherman has put some pieces back together here.
Now the Riders need to load the line of scrimmage. One guy back, that's Christian Jones, but they're going to load the line of scrimmage. You got to go after this.
Beatty had one block last week. Been 2 blocks so far this season. Cal 3 with 1 in their opener. And instead, they're not going to get a chance.
That's a great move. That's good.
Great move as Beatty is going to roll down in the end zone, let the clock continue to tick, and he'll go down with 2 seconds to go. I think they'll add 1 to the clock. And
no, that's good play. That's heads up. That's smart. You take it all the way down. Give up the 2, kick it off. Game over.
So 23-17.
Coach Sherman's
the toughest job of the night for him.
Some trouble getting that headset taken care of. He's just, hang on a second here. Let me.
He knows there might be some Gatorade. You got her, Coach.
There you go.
I think. The 60 minutes was easy.
Yeah, this is what is going on. I think the headsets are the same on either side of the border. But, okay, he got it straightened out there.
Well done, Coach.
Great sitting and talking to Mike Sherman. Hearing his insight on the game.
And his sidekick there, Rich Stubler, still got the game face on because there's still a second on the clock.
And he's been in the league a long time and knows how quickly it can happen. Now, often teams will squib kick this to let it bounce along on the ground so the timing on the return isn't there, and try and kick it to someone who's not necessarily the best returner.
One last squib as it skips downfield, and now they'll start with Duron Carter, flipping it to Jones. They're going backwards. Trey Mason, they've retreated to their 10. Mason gets headed north, gets dumped. Play allowed to continue. That's a forward lateral. And now across the other way. They might have something here. The band's not on the field, but Roosevelt down the sidelines. And finally, play is dead, out of bounds. I think there was a few forward laterals amongst it, but that was a little more dramatic than it had to be to finish Mike Sherman's first Canadian Football League victory. A huge upset here at Mosaic. The Nissan Titan Player of the Game brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
Well, I'll tell you, honorable mention to Chris Williams tonight, but I thought early on John Bowman brought leadership. His stats aren't going to jump off the page, but he disrupted the quarterback play no matter who was in there, David Watford or Brandon Bridge. John Bowman made a difference tonight in a big way for the Montreal Alouettes.
The 13-game losing streak is over. Mike Sherman has his first pro head coaching victory since January the 1st, 2006 with the Green Bay Packers. So the Alouettes win their first. They're 1-2. Disappointment on Humboldt's strong night for the home side as they lose their second straight and fall to 1-2. Lots of emotion, and we wish those young gentlemen the best. 23-17, the final score. Montreal wins it. So long from Mosaic. SportsCenter is now.